We're live.
Are we live?
We're live.
Are we live in LA?
That's us.
Okay, good morning, or should I say good afternoon to everybody who is checking in to Nick Arroj and Brooklyn Live from LA. If you're not confused yet, I'm confused because we are in Santa Monica. Behind the camera,
Rob the hair boss. Sorry, that's really embarrassing.
Rob the hair boss,
Yeah.
with that lovely pink hair. Okay, we've got plenty of people coming in already. Thank you. I'm Nick, nice to see you. This is Ty.
Hi, Ty.
Just like a tie, yeah? And what we're going to do with Ty's hair, we've got two haircuts for you today, so we're going to really have a lot of fun. What we're going to do with Ty's hair is we're actually going to sit some graduation in. So what we're doing, and we've been doing some graduation on our Facebook Lives. So what we're actually doing here is we're sitting the hair in slightly shorter. Now look at the angle of my fingers. The angle of my fingers here is going to establish the actual exit length. Now her hair is not so long at the front, but she wants to retain length, so she's growing her hair back out. So when I'm looking at the angle of the fingers, if my fingers come like this, follow that line down, it's way too long compared to the length here. So what we want to do is you want to try and square that in just a little bit. So follow the comb. So when we square that in, or when I angle that in, what that means is, it means that we're going to push to keep as much length through the front as possible. She's got beautiful hair, it's fine. She's growing her hair out from a short pixie. She wants to get more shape and more structure. I'm going to cut it with a scissor. And we just started on the one side. I'm going to stay focused on the one side. And I'm just going to just a little bit of point. Now watch what I do here. I place the scissor and I'm holding it on my finger so that the scissor's not floating. And it's a little bit like resting, as if you play pool or snooker. I know you don't play snooker. Snooker is snooker is it's like a bigger version of pool. The table's a lot bigger. So you'll notice how I rest my finger.
I'm just reading the comments. They're
Good.
so funny.
Yeah. So just rest my finger just to set that in. Okay. Now what I'm doing here? Nice clean sections. A nice clean section. I'm working with what I call my classic razor comb. And the reason why I like this comb today as opposed to this is more of your classic scissor comb. The reason why I'm using this is she's got fine hair and I want to kind of keep some looseness to it. So the nice thing is it gives me the consistency of the fine teeth, but then I've got the looseness of the wide teeth. So I'm going to stay focused on the fine teeth because the fine teeth gives me even tension. And you can see here what we're cutting off. And if you ever want to check, you can always pull the hair down here and you'll see how hardly anything is coming out. So you can see, you can kind of get that gauge of your angle and what you're creating. We're going to work with that Ty's hair. We're going to work to leave it natural, but it's something, because she's an actress and a model, it's something that she can wear both straight and curly. By creating this shape, we're going to add a little bit more volume to the back and it's going to give her much more of a look. You'll notice I comb it with the wide teeth of the comb. Clean section. Nice and clean section. Always keep your section super clean. Rotate the comb in your... Oh. It's good. Okay, I've got barbicide right there. Boom. In the barbicide. I am here in the Goldwell Academy in Santa Monica. So we came out early this morning. We tackled the traffic, didn't we?
We tried.
Yeah, we tried. How long was it?
The best Uber driver I've ever had.
You had the worst and then you had the best. Is that right?
It's true. I had the worst Uber driver. I was picking Nick up at his hotel. And then we came here to Santa Monica and it was hilarious.
Hilarious.
It was hilarious.
So let's stay focused. Now, typically speaking, when I'm cutting this hair in the salon, I would go side to side, but for the interest of Facebook Live, we're going to do one side first. So you'll notice that I'm over-directing the hair backwards. You want your sections to be thick enough that you can clearly see your guideline. There's the guide. If you can get into there, there's your guide. Comb the hair nice and clean from the base of the section. Comb the hair back and in. And then we're just going to layer this, graduate this in through the back. And notice how, and I say this all the time, notice how my scissor, my finger is not in the thumb hole. The thumb is not in, it's because I want to sit my hand over the shoulder. And if I put my thumb in, I can't sit my hand over the shoulder. So feel free to ask questions, and Robin, if you get a great question, then feel free to check in with our audience and say hey.
I'm just laughing because Corinne said, nice hat, swag master. I was like, what?
Yes, I'm trying to stay young. Now, this is what I'm doing here. A little bit of subdivision, subsectioning. So you'll take your section across, and then you'll notice how I subdivide the section. We are going to do a classic graduated bob in the coming weeks. Probably the most exciting haircut to do and the most difficult. This is an expanded version of a classic graduated bob technique because basically we're keeping the hair much longer than a classic graduated bob.
Nick, John McGarvey has a question for you.
Okay, John.
So John wants to know what shoes do you love? What shoes do you love, and what shears do you love?
Okay, so I have two pairs of shears that I love, and I don't know if we have these in stock anymore because I think we just sold out of them. This is a Mizutani Slim Arroj shear. This is a 5.5 inch.
Beautiful.
And we also have a BMAC 5-inch scissor that are all available on Arroj Pro, and we always do a promo. So the promo today for arrojpro.com is a 20% discount, and the discount code is LA baby.
LA baby.
LA baby. So it's going to be available, the discount code is available until tomorrow night.
So you got to get everything by tomorrow night. Stock up.
Stock up.
Get all the scissors that you need.
And you'll be in great shape. So now you'll notice I'm kind of starting to move up into the crown area. And you'll see combing this hair back, straight out, back, and following the guide. I don't want to comb this hair down. If I comb this hair down, it's going to get too much like a ledge. It's going to get too heavy. So I just want to follow that guide.
So, Nick, April would like to know how the hair is staying put. Is there any product in Ty's hair? Or?
The only product that's in Ty's hair right now is water, but I do have my Hydro Mist, which is the Arroj product, Hydro Mist, which we will be putting in later.
Excuse my nails.
And Hydro Mist is a conditioning spray. It's lightweight and it conditions, and it's a beautiful conditioning spray. Retails for $18, and we sell it as a conditioning spray. We don't sell it as a cutting lotion. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to section that hair off. So you'll see, you can actually have a look and see. You can see how the balance of this length right here is going to stay. Come and see the angle right here. You can see that we're going to keep the shape right the way through. Is that Alexis? Hey, Alexis, I think we're talking next week, yeah?
That's Alexis. She says hi.
Good, thanks for your email.
Hey, Alexis.
So now what we're going to do is I've sectioned the hair off from the top of the head. This is the top of the head above the crown. Now we're going to, again, take slightly diagonal sections. We're going to comb this hair straight back. And you're just going to follow your guide right the way through. And you can actually run down the hair a little to make sure that you are following through on the perfect line. So again, just combing that hair straight back. Always practice really great combing, because when you practice really great combing, it makes for great cutting. And work really nice and clean. Now in the salon, I like to work on the 45-minute. So literally, and if this gets a little awkward, I don't know if you pull back a little bit, you can see how high my elbow is. If this starts to get a little too uncomfortable, you can literally drop your arm. You can drop it like it's hard.
Got to keep those fingers tight.
You got to keep it tight. Final section before I move into the side. So using a lot of over direction will enable us to keep maximum length through the front change the shape of the cut. And then next up for Ty will be to arrange this color. That'll be her next call to action. And you can see nice and clean how your guideline, right the way, you can see how clean it is. Your sections should always be thick enough that you're actually cutting hair off, and thin enough that you can actually see your guideline. So we've cut one side of the back, so 1/4 of the haircut is done. If we comb the hair down, you can kind of see the graduation point. You can see how that's working. She has this natural movement in her hair, which is beautiful. We're going to kind of work with that. Now let's stay focused and cut the side. So now what my sections are going to be diagonal forward. We're going to work right the way through, and this will be the quickest part of the cut. The reason being is now we've actually worked through the thickest part of the hair through the back. And the one thing is, I'm not going to cut the hair out. I'm actually going to try and point my fingers in. So I'm actually trying to shape the haircut so that it angles in towards the face shape.
Nick, can I ask a question? Whenever you're cutting the side of like a bob type haircut like this, where do you like your client's head position to be?
I like my, see, look, watch what happens. You own her very comfortable to begin with, and just slightly off to the side. Because as soon as she puts her head slightly over, it opens up a little bit more space for me to move and for me to work in. So nice clean combing, and then you'll see how now we're moving and working towards removing absolutely no length through the front. But look at my fingers how I'm starting to angle my finger in. I'm not cutting the hair out, I'm actually shaping the hair in. And these sections are diagonal forward. I'm cutting it to slightly off center. I like to do a lot of hair cutting off center. I don't like my work to be overly symmetrical, because I think face shapes tend to work a little bit better when the hair is slightly offset. The reason being, not many people are perfectly symmetrical, and if you actually make the haircut so perfect and symmetrical, it may show up imperfections in the features. So I don't want to make this haircut look lopsided, and I'm not going to go for asymmetry, but I'm definitively working it slightly off center. It's going to give me a better feel and a better finish.
So I'm noticing that you are going over the fingers right now. Is that just for comfort or?
Comfort, because if I keep the hands like this, the elbows really extended.
Oh, then you're going to need a back massage after that.
If I drop it, then I can come do exactly the same. And there's one side complete. Yeah,
that's great.
So we kind of push that in, so you can come and see from the front. You can see that basically just by taking out that back, it's going to create some real magic. Now it's time for me to repeat on the opposite side. The challenge is always making sure that it is balanced.
Great. So
what I like to do to begin is I like to take that section just above the occipital bone and take that hair away. And now I'm going to focus through here. She's got a nice little, what is that, a diamond? Is that an arrow? Somebody shot an arrow through your ear? They're freaky in California, baby. Okay, so now let's repeat what we just did, okay? So now the first section that I'm going to take is, I'm going to take a small diagonal forward section. I've already got the guide on the opposite side. Fine teeth of the comb. Fingers tucked in, knuckles in, work nice and clean. Always comb your haircut after each cut, always comb it. When you comb it, you can have a look and see. Yeah, now one of the things that I really like to focus on is, even though I have the technique, I want to focus on making sure that I have a little bit of softness in my work. So when I'm combing the hair down, I'm having a look to see what we're creating. And you can see the lines. So working with a scissor, and scissor cutting for me is always the first way to learn how to cut hair. Always learn how to cut hair with a scissor, and then you can actually learn razor cutting secondary, because scissor cutting is like joining the lines, and you got to understand that structure. When it comes to the hairline, don't over emphasize the hairline. I'm not so forgiving. I just do the cut regardless of the hairline. So I was trained at Vidal Sassoon to work with the hairline. Today when I cut hair, I just ignore the hairline altogether. So I don't work with it. Section diagonal forward, classic graduation. I got this great clip. Just keep that hair nice and clean so I can always see the skin of the scalp. I want to see that because that's where the comb doesn't go in here. The comb goes in right here. The comb goes right into the section.
Nick, Heather has a question for you. She wants to know if you prefer to do this haircut with an angle or if you like it more squared off.
Well, you know, I think if it was longer at the front, I would create more of an angle. I think the angle and the dynamic of an angle is fantastic. But because Ty's growing her hair, I'm trying to cut enough off to give her the shape that she's looking for, but retain as much length as possible so that she has not necessarily a super short cut. You'll see, keep it nice and clean. I think after I cut this piece, I'm gonna have a look and see where I'm actually at with the cut. What that means is it's like a touch point for me. Touch points, when I talk about a touch point, which I say a lot, a touch point is pretty much like a time to stop. I'll take the section here. So now I've kind of stopped in the back. So I've got the same on both sides. The same on both sides. Okay. And now this is the touch point. So I'll put my hands in and I'll have a look and a feel. And I'll see if this hair is working in the right way. Because I'm cutting with a scissor, you've got clean lines in there. Clean lines is going to give you more structure. If I want to soften the cut later, I certainly can. Yeah. One of the reasons why I love scissor cutting so much is because it helps me with that structure. One of the reasons why I love razor cutting is it gives me softness. Now let's just come over my shoulder, Robin. Let's have a look. When you're checking, so let's take a piece from either side. Pull that hair in. And even though this side's, we're talking about 2 millimeters longer on the left-hand side, which is the new side to cut, which is by design. The reason being is I don't want to recut this side. I only want to refine the new side. Now this is looking pretty balanced. I feel good about that. When you're checking for balance, you create an imaginary line from area to area. So never look away. Always look down at your angles and look at your points. You can see slightly longer through here. So what that means is I've been over-directing this back just a little bit too much. I'm not going to chase dust. When I talk about chasing dust, what that means is I'm not going to go through this and really chase small amounts of hair, but by using a little bit less over direction, I can strengthen that and get that to work perfectly. That was the touch point because really that's the foundation of the cut. Everything underneath the occipital bone and slightly above it. Now I'm going to continue on. Now remember on the opposite side, what did we do, Robin? Can you remember?
On the opposite side?
What did we do? Can you remember?
Well,
we subdivided the section.
It's all about the subdivision.
You got it, babe. So let me go through and now I'll subdivide. Now we are in LA. What are we doing here, Robin?
So we are actually here for the Indie Beauty Expo, which basically different independent beauty brands are here, and they're just getting people familiarized with what their products are all about. And just getting their name out there. So
we met about 200 different independent brands in hair care, skin care, makeup. You love the oils.
Body oils.
Body
I gotta
oils.
buy one.
Yeah, we better believe it.
It's the last day, so I gotta get it today.
And yesterday, you actually was on stage, Robin.
I was on stage, yeah.
And how was that moment for you? You was on stage doing hair?
I was on stage doing some dry styling. So there were 3 different models. It was called the Musical Makeovers. So there was a girl doing eyebrows who was amazing, and a makeup artist, and then myself doing some of the hair. And it was great.
You have a good time?
Yeah, it was amazing.
And Robin, you've been doing hair for how long?
4 years.
4 years. And where do you work?
I work, so Arrojo has 3 different salons. There's one in Soho, one in Tribeca, and one in Williamsburg. And Williamsburg is actually, it's just a little area in Brooklyn. And so I work in that salon. I used to work in the Soho one though.
Great. And how much do you charge for a haircut, Robin?
I charge $90.
$90. And they pay it?
And they pay it.
Fantastico. Okay, so you'll see I'm moving through, combing the hair back into the previously cut section and just following that angle. And now, before I was pointing my fingertips in, now I'm sitting my knuckles in. So this side was fingertips in, this side is knuckles in. So we're trying to sit the hair in through the back. And the subdivision really helps because it helps me see my guideline. And I'm probably going to do another section and then I'll have another touch point.
So Tim Bricker has a question. He wants to know if somebody has a strong growth pattern at the nape of their neck, what do you do about that when you're going short like this? And
I mentioned it earlier. One of the things, Tim, that I don't do, and thanks for tuning in and great seeing you on Monday night. One of the things that I don't do is I never worry about the hairline. When you worry about this stuff here, right? You worry about it when nothing's sitting on top of it. But what's going to happen is, even if this jumped, when I drop all of the weight on top of it, it's going to give it a different level of control. So I'm not the kind of hairstylist that focuses too much on growth pattern, hairline pattern. I certainly try not to modify my technique. I like to just stay true to the technique regardless of the growth pattern. And I found that it just tends to work out just perfectly. So I hope that answers the question. Now I'm just at the crown area, diagonal forward sections, rotate the comb, nice fine teeth of the comb. Look for your guide. Don't comb this down. If you comb this down too much, it's going to get shelf-like. It's a little thick, that section. And I dropped the comb again, but that's okay.
Get the barber side. It's over here now.
Is it? Behind you. Got it. Fine teeth of the comb. Working through. So right there, you'll notice how this is not as angled. And then I try to start to move and round that. It's kind of like rounding that in. So my angle is moving inwards.
Nick, this is something that I think that I still struggle with. Do you think you could talk a little bit about how raising your elevation actually softens rather than creates like the shelf-like feeling, how you were talking about dropping your elbow?
Whenever you create elevation, it creates softness. If I comb the hair down, I'm collapsing the hair, I'm going to create more of a shelf. If I comb this hair straight back, I'm going to be able to create more softness. So if you want to create a soft line, learn how to lift your section, elevate your section. If you want to create a clean, heavy line, hold your section more down. And that will give you more clarity. Now, by subdividing, this really helps you. The subdivision of each section really helps because I'm actually learning how to follow my guide, and I'm also thinking about the angle of my fingers. I'm also thinking about where this hair is going to sit. So always look and see the angle of your fingertips or the angle of the shape that you're creating. And you notice I'm trying to move into the face. I think that's the key to my graduation shapes, is to move inwards. Let's comb this hair down, let's have a look. So wide tooth of the comb. Yeah, got to cut this with a razor, but scissors today. Maybe razor on the next model. You can see we're getting a little bit of weight right through here. You can see the weight line, you can see the softness moving right the way in. With the wide teeth of the comb, it's allowing me to put less stress on the hair. Yeah? And you can see that weight line just right there. There's the weight line as it falls through.
Nick, what is the name of these scissors again? Sheila wants to know.
This scissor that I'm using is the Mizutani Slim.
Mizutani. Made
specifically for Arroj. They retail, I believe, for around $360. And remember, there's a 20% discount code, which will be valid through tomorrow night, New York time. And the discount code is?
Something LA.
LA, baby.
LA, baby.
To celebrate us being in LA. And I'm going to be back in LA next week. And we're coming back to LA to do the ISSE show. We're going to bring our Arroj Expo inspiration. We're going to be sharing our new collections, our new inspirations. We have 3 inspirations to share. We have Undefined, which is our American Wave, curl-inspired collection. Sonic Boom, which is our street-inspired collection, and Sugar Candy, which is a little bit more rock and roll, but not with guitars, a little bit more like techno pop. So you should definitely come and check us out. We're on main stage. We have razor cutting classroom inspiration. We have our brand new state-of-the-art designed trade booth. And we're going to be doing certifications for American Wave, which is our texture service. And look what I got over there. What is that, Robin?
We're using it. So this is called Glint. You already know what I'm going to say about it, don't you?
Go for it, baby.
Okay, so this is probably my new favorite product. It was launched yesterday. I actually have it in my hair right now. So it adds a lot of texture. It's like actually designed from the Wave collection to be more of a shine spray. Using it in my hair, I find that I get a lot of texture. It's kind of like a sea salt meets dry shampoo meets shine spray. It's my new favorite thing.
That's what. And how's the fragrance?
Well,
what was the funny thing that happened just today?
Oh, you have to tell the story.
Okay.
I'm not as good.
So I'm at the show. We're on the show floor, and we're meeting all these beauty people and all these brands, and we're sharing our culture and our message and our product. And I got the product in yesterday for the first time. I saw the spray with my own label on it, finished. And lo and behold, I spray it into the air, and somebody walks past and goes, "Oh, that smells really good. What is that fragrance? What does that smell?" So I go over, and there's a little lady there, and I said, "Oh, do you want me to do your hair?" And I start doing her hair. She said, "Oh, hi, Nick, I'm Bobby." So it was Bobby Brown. And
Brown.
The first time I used my hair product,
it was the first time,
I sprayed
right?
it in the air, and she walked past and went, "What a great smell." And I was like, boom, shaka, laka. So now let's move on to the side. Let's focus on this a little bit, okay? Because she's got an arrow right in there. So notice how I'm just trying to separate this out just a little. I want to keep everything behind the ear that's in the top center of the ear. So I'm going to keep this, I'm going to comb this more down and in. So really nice combing. Follow that in. So look at my finger. I don't know if you can see my finger. My knuckles are angling in towards the jaw. If you feel like you want to have another look, you can elevate that out a little, because this is an important point. Every time when you start around the baseline, you are defining and creating your guide, your foundation. So once you've cut that, now we'll grab everything. Be careful and cautious of the ear jewelry. And then my fingers are not this way. My fingers are angled in. And once I cut this little piece here, that's a touch point. So what I say is that touch point there is where I'm going to come through. And I'm now going to come through here. I'm going to take a piece from the opposite side. Get out of my way, please, Rob.
Sorry.
Comb the hair down. And again, the imaginary line. So I can see where the imaginary line is between my two fingers. Hair from the same point. And we're pretty much right on point. So I'm in good shape. I'm going to carry on a few more sections, and then we're going to pack in some product and leave her to air dry while we go into our second shortcut, which I think is great. We've got two great models today. You know, whenever you come to LA, you always get the greatest models, because it's the land of beautiful people. Okay, so carrying on. Follow that guide through. Follow that guide through. Fine teeth of the comb. Angling the knuckle into the face. So classic graduation technique that we're working on today. And really just following that hair in. Diagonal forward sections. Fine teeth of the comb. Don't over direct the hair down too much now, because if you pull it down too much, it's going to get too much of a weight line. So out. This, I've been working, 30 minutes, and I think we're almost getting close to the end point, maybe a little bit less than 30. In the salon, this is a 20-minute cut. It gives me the other 25 minutes. Well, I would say you got 10 minutes getting the client washed. See hardly anything coming out here. So you got 10 minutes to get the client in the chair, shampooed. You got 20 minutes to cut, so now you got 30 minutes done. And then what you're going to have is you're going to have 15 minutes for styling. And that 15 minutes for styling is very, very important. All right, so you can see now the shape. Now straight away she changes the way that she looks. right? Because we've created some shortness through here, so it's given us some lift, created more emphasis around the jawline, and it just creates more structure. You'll step back, you'll have a look at your work, learn how to look at your work. Yeah, you can see what you've got created right in here. And all I'm going to do right now is I'm going to elevate the hair out and try and soften a little bit of the weight line. So the way in which I'm going to do this, I'm going to drop the chair down. Lift this hair all the way up. Okay? And there you go. Just going to round off that top corner. Now, I'm not going to point cut today. There's no point for me to point cut. You know, I think you've got to look at your hair cutting in purity. So look at the purity of your work. Of course, if you're familiar with my work, I do a heck of a lot of razor cutting. So razor cutting creates more softness, and I like soft work. But the core philosophy of great hair cutting is architecture, and you learn architecture through classic craft hair cutting. Once you've learned the architecture, then you can start to introduce different tools, like the straight edge blade, to bring more softness and freedom to your work. So it helps you to create a little bit more of a sketchy feel, as if you were sketching the haircut in with a pencil. So just elevation, lifting the hair straight up, just cleaning and sealing the ends. What are you laughing at so much?
I'm just laughing because it really is like sketching. It's just funny to hear you say that.
So now the opposite side, always over directing the hair back and in. So you'll notice I'm here and then I'm here. So as a hairdresser, you're always moving. It's like dancing. You dance around the chair. Remember, your client is going to look at you. She's going to look at you. She's going to see how you create behind the chair. She's going to watch your mannerisms. She's going to watch your technique, and she's going to make judgments on how perfect you are, how good you are, how meticulous you are. And that's going to help you when it comes to building your clientele, because the clients notice, and it's just you and your client when you're doing your hair cutting. Now, as far as product goes, I'm thinking about Ty's hair, and I want to kind of dial up a little bit of the texture. So we'll do a combo. Now, Robin, did you bring my Refinish dry shampoo?
We did not bring the Refinish.
Are you in trouble right now?
I'm in trouble. You're putting me on the spot. I didn't bring the Refinish. These were the ones that you wanted right here.
And the Refinish. I thought that was the basic. Did you bring the dry conditioner? The Refresh?
No, you just had me bring these ones.
If anyone's looking for a stylist, Robin's looking for a job.
Robin's looking for a job. I'm available for hire.
Rob the boss.
I'm not so bossy right now, am I? Oh my God.
Okay, so we've kind of finished the cut. That's the cut done, right? So now it's time for me to pack some product in. So let's prep the hair. First thing that we're going to do, little hydro mist, little lightweight conditioner into the hair. And this is going to act as a foundation for the product. And I could have used that while I was cutting. I'm actually going to use now Arroj Volume Foam. The great thing about volume foam is the more you pump in, the more volume and thickness you're going to get. So that's about 6, 7, maybe 8 pumps. And this is how I apply it.
I thought it was like 15.
Well, I'm a bad counter. Take, and again, when you're applying product, make it magical, right? Don't just slap it in, and try and involve the client too as much as possible. So when it's like this, she can actually smell the fragrance. And what that does, smells good, yeah? This is my lavender.
Spray too.
Yeah.
Really lovely.
The spray was nice, yeah? Linden Blossom. So you notice how I'm working this in. This is gonna add thickness and volume to the hair. Not gonna weigh the hair down, but it's gonna give the hair more structure. So quite a lot of product here. A good friend of mine who works with us, Paul Merritt, this is one of his favorite products, the volume foam. He can't get enough. And I've seen Paul put literally a full bottle onto a model's hair, and she lived.
She lived.
She lived. She
I could say the same
lived.
thing about Paul. We did a styling class with him, and the Arroj Prim spray. He just kept layering it, and it was amazing.
Well, he's an editorial hairdresser,
That's
so
what he
editorial
does.
hairdressers, that's what they do for a living.
Yeah.
They play with product. Now let's go in with our Glint
Okay.
American Wave Glint Wave and Shine Spray. So it's going to add texture, thickness, and I'm just going to pulse it in. So this is the that Bobby Brown just walked by. She said,
Really?
How's this smell?
Nice.
Yeah, it smells good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Glint
Somebody said it
is
smells like
like-
the beach.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Now what I'm gonna do is some
Sorry.
Someone's
nice
ringing.
soft music in the background. Is that
That's
your phone?
nice.
Nice soft music in
So
the background.
therapeutic.
We're gonna comb all this product in. Again, wide teeth of the comb. Comb that product right the way in. Rob, don't fall over.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Oops,
You
moving
gotta
everything.
comb it in. You gotta comb it in first. Okay, comb it right the way through. And then we're gonna just leave you for now to dry. And don't touch it, just let it settle. So I'm just giving the hair a little encouragement. One of the things that's a good thing to do, we'll probably bang it with a hairdryer later. It's a good thing to do, maybe just lock some of that hair down. So this is like a ribboning technique. And with the product that's gonna add, it's gonna hold. You can take your coffee tie and you can go and hang out around the back.
This is one of my
And
favorite
we are
techniques
gonna-
you do.
We are gonna pull you back out in about 20 minutes, okay? And where's your coffee? Is it over there?
It's over there.
Good, because she needs a coffee. So now just encourage that little squeeze. Let's take the cape off, go and hang out, and let's bring in Joanne. Come on in, Joanne.
Welcome,
Cheers.
Joanne, to the
Here we
chair.
Hi.
Goldwell in the house. at
Goldwell in the
Goldwell Academy of
house.
Santa Monica.
Woo!
It's our color company of choice. And let's do short hair. So we're going to do an undercut here, which is going to be a lot of fun. Oh, what's this? Oh,
Is that
copy.
yours?
I hope so.
Courtney.
What's this?
Courtney likes your haircut.
What is this?
So actually, that is.
What is that?
Never mind that.
Never mind that. Okay. So let's have a look and see Joanne. Joanne's going to be one of our hot models for next week when we come back to do our show here at Long Beach. So we're going to change the color. She doesn't know it yet, but she'll enjoy it. What we're going to do with Joanne's hair is we're going to do an undercut. So I'm going to use my Hydro Mist to work the hair, to put some moisture. We shampooed it earlier with our daily shampoo. We just used that classic Arroj daily shampoo. And we'll spray that hair, it's nice and wet. Hydro Mist. It's our lightweight cutting lotion.
I've never seen better cheekbones in my life.
Really?
Really?
They look good today?
Not you, Nick.
Boom shakalaka. You know what they are? They're Russian cheekbones.
Oh,
Yeah, they're Russian cheekbones. She's been rushing to get here, and she made it. So now, we damp the hair down. Now let's have a look and see where we're going to start. So let's section the hair off where the head rounds. So the comb's flat. You put your finger in. The head, this is flat, and that's where the head rounds. It's where it joins. You see? That corner. So you don't want to be too low and you don't want to be too high. You want to be underneath. And that's about perfect. In fact, I think that is just a little high. So just a small, skinnier, see a little skinnier section, just to lower that section. We've been working on a theme with scissor. Let's stay with it. Let's stay with the scissor. Yeah, we don't need to raise it if we don't, Let's stay with the scissor. What we're going to do now is we're going to section the hair over the front of the ear. I want to keep it soft, but I want to keep it short. Yeah? So this is going to be layered in short. This is going to fall over the top. And she's got beautiful but fine hair. I also want to keep a little softness through the edge.
I've noticed that's pretty in lately. having more softness around the hairline
Yeah, I think
for short haircuts.
I think it just looks less contrived, and you can see the angle. Look at the angle of my finger. If you look in the mirror if you can, Rob. See how my fingers are angling? It's like, follow the comb. It's not going in, it's actually coming out. And that's going to enable me, when I comb this, to come out a little. That enables me to actually keep a little bit of softness. And I'm actually cutting at the widest part of the head, right here. So that's why I start on the interior. Diagonal forward section. Let's comb the hair back. Let's cut it nice and clean as we come through. Next section, now she's got beautiful fine hair. Next section, over direction, is going to keep softness towards the face. And we can just run that right the way down. Two sections here, there's one. By keeping it soft around the face, A, I've got more options, and B, I can always, it's going to marry into the top hair better because I want some softness in here. I don't want it so extreme that the undercut becomes uber obvious. When we comb that hair down, you can see
Looks good already.
the softness that we've got by using the over direction. So you'll notice it's shorter in here, but longer in here. Okay. Now, let's work on the back. So I think you might want to stand over here, Rob.
Okay.
Keep the hair damp. So we'll use our Hydro Mist. The nice thing about Hydro Mist, it's going to really help me with the styling of the hair. It's going to really help with the styling of the hair. Let's follow this all the way into the nape. Fine teeth of the comb. There you go. There's your guide. And notice how I want to follow the comb. See how I'm working to keep length? Because if you follow the comb, you see it's longer towards the nape. So let's do that again. You can pull the ear away, get your comb, get your finger right behind. And then we're just going to cut up. By elevating, what does elevation create?
Softness.
You got it, Rob the Boss. What is your Instagram handle?
Rob the Hair Boss.
Rob the Hair Boss.
Yes.
You are the Hair Boss, I think.
I am the Hair Boss. I'm really sorry that I forgot the refinish.
That's okay. So you'll see, work nice and clean. Follow that section through. Now you'll notice the most important thing was making this section correct, because this is where it's important, because we're going to run into it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to run that out too. So now I've created my line across the center back.
When you say correct section, do you mean just like not too high, not too low?
Yes. It means that I'm really sitting that right where the head transitions from the shortest point, where the head transitions from the side to the top. That's what that means. Now I'm using a little bit of over direction, but I want to, if I keep over direction, it's going to get heavy or kind of baggy through the back. So what we want to do here is we want to run this around. So I'm actually going to move and pulling the hair out at 90 degrees. So I'm literally on top of my section. And then let's comb to have a look. Let's comb it down to have a look. You want to make sure this section does not get too angled, because you're going to have a tendency to over direct. So keep it still diagonal back, but keep it so that you can comb the hair straight out at 90. There's your guide. Right the way, and you can always check. And just have a look at my hands. See, look at my fingers. See these fingers here, these two? They're holding on the head. They're like my guides. It's kind of like my measurement. Right here, I'm touching the head, and that's kind of keeping this hand very steady, which is a great thing. And it's also like my measure. So like literally, as I hold the head, these two fingers here are pressing against the head. And that kind of helps me with the stress. I can feel the amount of length that I'm actually cutting. Now you want to follow your weight line here. So what do I mean by that? Your weight is right here. Yeah, and we're not creating a big weight line, but that's the top of your weight line, right here. You want to follow that weight line. If we over-direct it, it's going to dip. If it dips, it's going to look not pretty. You like that? Not pretty?
Yeah.
Work to what we call, because now there's a transition. This is the side, this is the back, this is the top. So this is a transitional point right here where we go from the side to the back, the same way that the top to the side are transitional points. So a little over direction, keeping an eye on the transition. Coming through, keeping it nice and soft. So come into the nape, keep it nice and clean. Comb in. Beautiful, clean sections. Don't over pull because the skin, she's young, she's youthful, so her skin is very tight. But if you over pull it, you'll stretch the hair. You'll stretch the skin and it will create inconsistency. So make sure you're aware of how flexible and how much drag or how much give there is. So now this is the transitional corner. I'm just going to take that weight out. Now it's important for you, if you want to, we're trying to create much more of a dynamic here with this cut, okay? What do I mean by that? We are trying to create more drama by keeping the length through the top.
More drama. More
drama, yeah? So we're really focusing on what I like to call the profile shape, yeah? So you'll notice I'm going to transition round, not over-directing, making sure that I've got the perfect balance.
Nick, are you keeping your fingers square at the nape of the neck, or what are you focusing on down here?
I am focusing on cutting a line like this. So as the head kind of has curvature,
okay,
I'm focusing on cutting a line like this. So the hair will be a little bit shorter here, a little bit longer here, and a little bit longer here.
Cool.
Okay? And I'm always combing that hair down to have a look. And don't let the technique ruin your cut. So stay focused in the moment. You can always modify. What do I mean by don't let the technique? Sometimes we focus so much on the technique that we go blind looking at the shape. So I'm always looking for the shape, because when you're cutting hair, you know, you've got to be able to like let the hair talk to you. And I say this, I've said this many times, the hair talks to you. It tells you what it likes, and your eye tells you what you like to see. Notice I'm working all the way across the back as much as I possibly can until I start to move over the center back, which means that I'll move past and beyond the top of her spine, which is right here.
Right there.
Yeah? So if you come stand behind me, you can see that slight diagonal section, right? You'll see this is over the top of the spine, but this is not. So I've got 2 or 3 more sections before I do the same thing on the opposite side.
So do you like to sort of cross over through the center?
I do like to cross over through the center. I think it's, so I like to try and keep, wherever I start, I like to keep going. I don't like to jump from side to side, from side to side. I like to kind of keep in the flow, and I try to do as much as possible from the very first guideline.
Do you feel like that helps you be a little more consistent, just kind of getting your fluidity like that?
You know what it does? It definitely helps me with my consistency, and it helps me with my fluidity. Now, as I come through here, I'm below the crown, but I can see the crown area, so you always got to keep an eye. Let the hair talk to you. Yeah? So right now, top of the spine is here. This will be my last section. I'm going to move across. So my feet, you'll notice, started here, 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 moved here, 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 moving all the way around. I'm working with my classic razor comb. In the salon, we make sure everyone cuts with scissor when they're learning the classic cuts. They learn how to cut with the classic scissor comb, the Arroj Red classic scissor comb. And then when they start razor cutting, the nice thing about the scissor comb, it's slightly smaller. It's easier.
It's the scissor comb.
It's easier for people to work with. Let's spin around. Okay, so come stand here. So you see, that's what you're looking at. You're looking for the head shape. Okay? You're looking for the head shape. So you'll see it's not weighty. It's toyed like a toy. Now what we're going to do is we're going to repeat on this side. Now we want to make them, you know, we want to make them sisters, not twins. Yeah?
Ah, love that.
A little bit of fine, another little bit of fine working through with the mist. I always look at the client's face. I'm always looking to see, you kind of, remember, we're in the beauty business, so we're always looking for the beauty. Yeah, that's why we get into hairdressing, because we like to focus on beauty, so we're always looking for beauty. Nice clean section again. Section the hair off. You can always check for the balance. Okay, so a good thing to do when you're checking for the balance is hold that hair, make sure your balance is correct. All right, really focus on that. So when you're doing that, pull this away so you can see. Look in the mirror, make sure you can see that cleanness. And then come a bit closer, Robin. Let's just get this section perfect. And we're just sectioning that out. And the little hydro mist is gonna help just to hold. And now it's time for me to do this. You have a little look at this side, kind of get a feel for what you did. And now let's come through the opposite side. Section the hair straight down. And remember, we're not angling in towards the face. We're actually angling slightly out. So that's going to give me more length and still the shortness at the widest part of the head. Any questions?
At the moment, no.
Great.
April Marie likes your comment about making sisters, not twins.
Yeah, well, that's what we say. Okay, we're over directing this hair slightly back. Fine teeth of the comb. Always comb it down after each cut. I'll do a little check-in. So I checked in to the other sister. And I'm going to carry on.
What do you say, point check, or what's that?
It's called a touch point.
A touch point.
Yeah. That's just like a point where I say, okay, let me have a touch point. Let's have a touch, have a look, have a feel. See how the hair balances and blends. These are diagonal forward sections. Okay. Look at the finger angle. Look, you'll see how it's getting longer. I'm not shaping the hair in, I'm shaping the hair out. And we got to get a move on, Mrs. Robin, because we've got to get back to downtown LA. Yeah?
Yes, we do.
Today we're going to go back to our Indie Beauty Expo. We're going to meet some friends, make some new friends. We're going to promote our business, promote our brand. Come and stand around here. For all the people that are carrying and working with Arroj products, we're a professional, independent product company. We do things our way. And if you're interested, we call it the Arroj Ambassador Program. You can become an ambassador tomorrow or today. You can contact me directly, either DM me through my Instagram account, or you can be in touch with Nick at Arroj NYC. And we do business the way in which we like to do business, which is the way hairdressers like to do business. So there's no buy-in to the point where you have to commit to so much money. If you're an independent hairstylist, we know a lot exist. We do business with independents, and in Long Beach we're going to be launching American Wave, our second professional line. So we're excited for that. So come and see us at our show booth next week, and you can see and feel and touch and smell the American Wave and the Arroj products. And if you're interested in becoming part of our ambassador network, just give us a call. Be in touch with us and we'll send you information on how you can become part of the ambassador program. Being part of the ambassador program means you carry and sell Arroj retail in your salon, and we don't tell you how to run your business, but we're there to encourage you to be successful. Touch point time. So now we step back, touch point, get your hands in, have a feel, and you start to see if you're keeping the length, and see that softness that we've got? We're cutting it short, we're cutting it clean, but we're also using technique to create softness. Always looking for your guide, keep your sections fine enough that you actually can see your guideline. Comb the head down, nice. Comb the hair straight out, 90 degrees. Follow it through. Now we'll come into what we call the corner. It's kind of right here. And we don't want to over-direct the hair over this way too far. So we're going to transition from the side into the back, and soon we're going to be transitioning into what, Robin?
Into the other side.
Yeah, into the side that we previously cut.
put me on the spot with these questions.
I like to do that, Robin, because it's all
You like
part
to
of
keep
the
me on my
education,
toes.
baby. And what's our code?
LA, baby.
LA, baby. We have a discount code on our professional store, arrojopro.com. Scissors, dryers, hair dryers, razors, clips, brushes, combs, inspirational material, and diffusers, you name it, we got it. So now we're working across the back. Keep your sections nice and clean. And I start to transition into the hair that was previously cut.
So as you're doing this, like, do you feel like it's just kind of crossing over? Or are you still removing length? Like, how is this working?
I should be just crossing over. Yeah? So you can start to see there's less and less hair as we start to cross in. So as I come down the back here, there'll be no hair. You'll see? Because I'm moving into the hair that was previously cut.
Perfect.
Final section. This may be the final section. Let's just have a look. Yep, just a little bit more, you see, right there. And notice how I let the hair start to slowly dry so I can see the personality of the hair.
I like that. Personality of the hair.
Yeah. And notice how I've kept a little bit of looseness. See this little piece in here? It's just slightly longer, but I kind of like the way
I
that
like it.
allow yourself to be a bit free. So now, and I'm not big on cross-checking. If you wanted to cross-check, I would cross-check over the head. Bang, bang, bang. When you cross-check over the head, what that means, this piece is from the top. When you hold the hair in your outsides of your fingers, you're putting less stress. When you hold it on the insides of your fingers, you can pull more. So when you come over your fingers and you're above it, you can actually see the line so much better. But I'm not a big cross-checker. I like to cut hair well, so I don't need to cross-check. Okay, now let's just work on how we're going to keep all of this length. So let's comb all that length down. Okay, comb all that length down. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to comb it across the center back. We're going to comb it across the top. And we've got 10 minutes left on our show today. So now what we're going to do, and let's spin her around into the mirror. Let's just have a look. Let me go this way so you can see. So just come and have a look and see how little needs to come off. Okay, so you're looking at the profile shape. Let's get that hair off the face so it's not uncomfortable. And now we're going to start to work with a little bit more looseness.
So is this like a center section in the back that you're...
Center section in the back. And I'm going to notice how we're angling this hair slightly up and away to keep a little bit more length.
And are you just following your guide from the underneath?
Following my guide from the underneath. Layering this in. Straight through. And this I've sectioned across the top of the head. And I'm over directing slightly back, and it's going to start to not connect in through the side. So notice how I pull that straight back. And if I were to comb it this way, there's your disconnection. You see that? Mm-hmm. But because I comb it back in, I'm connecting it through the back, but not through the side. Comb that hair down and have a look. Let's do this side quick, Rob. We're going to move. We're going to speed it up. I don't want Jessica is on her own.
Holding down the fort.
Holding down the fort.
At the Beauty Expo.
At the Beauty Expo. We got to get a move on. Fine teeth of the comb. So feel free, we've got another few more minutes before we finish our Facebook Live from LA today. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. If you want to follow Arrojo, connect to us on arrojosocial.com. That's our social network, which is for all things Arrojo. So if you want to stay connected and see everything that we're doing, arrojosocial.com. And you can download that from the App Store. Okay, comb that hair down. Center section, side, side. It looks great. We don't want to overcompromise what we're doing here. Straight down. Comb this hair all the way back. And notice how I'm keeping all the length. All the way back. All the length. all the way back. You see that? You see the transition? It's connecting into the back. It is not connecting into the sides. Disconnected.
Nick, we have another scissor question. Maria
Yes.
wants to know, which scissor do you use for dry cutting?
I use the same scissor for dry cutting and wet cutting. I use either my 5.0 or my 5.5 Mizutani or my BMAC. Yeah, I do have longer shears. Yeah, I was a big fan of Nick's scissors. And I know there's a lot of great scissors out there, but I'm a simple guy. And I usually tend to work with my same shear as much as possible. We do like BMAC shears. I think they're a great tool. We like Mizutani shears. We love Hikari shears, or scissors, or whatever you want to call them. But the problem with Hikaris, or the challenge, is they're very expensive. Yeah, and I think that if you drop your Hikaris, yeah, and all of a sudden, it really hurts when you hear them hit the floor.
I may or may not have dropped your scissors once during my apprenticeship. It was not a pretty day.
I think you did.
I think I might have.
Look at this over direction back. Over direction back. We kept all the length.
BMAC, that's right.
BMAC.
Looks great.
That was good, eh? Okay. Now it's time for me to pick up the dryer. We already have the hydro mist in there, and I've got my glint. So let's just quickly blast the dry. The hydro mist is going to silken the hair, and then a little bit of glint, wave and texture spray is going to give the hair some texture.
So she's one of the models next weekend, you said?
Yeah.
And so, what is next weekend? It's Long Beach.
Long Beach ISSE show.
Awesome.
So it should be a lot of fun. We've got a great show to share with you. Great clothes, great imagery, inspiration, American wave, great color techniques. My lead colorist, one of my lead colorists is coming, Zach Norman. We have a great team of people. Some of our ambassadors from across America are going to come and help us too. So we really are an inclusive brand and an inclusive business. And if you want to get involved in Arrojo, you just connect to us. Yeah? Connect to us. We're a privately owned company. So I own it. And I have a good time.
Great
doing what
time.
I love. How's it looking on camera?
It's looking great.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I made those cheekbones myself.
Oh, I love those cheekbones.
So
Nick, do you have a...
Robin?
Thank you.
Remember
I
the
don't
girl
think
last night I
so.
said you look like?
Yeah, she was so hot. I was flattered, but you know, my cheekbones aren't like hers. Nick, do you have a plan for her color next week? Is she going to stay blonde? I mean, not that she doesn't look great, but are you going to change her color, or you don't know?
I think what we do is we're going to discuss it with our color team when we get there. I don't like to tell people what to do. I like to have a healthy dialogue, and especially when you're doing a show presentation, what we have to do is we have to make sure that we're on point. This is Goldwell color. Was this colored by Ashley? Tessa. Tessa is one of our colorists in New York. We came to LA last month. We come to LA a lot. Yeah. We came to LA last month and we did our expose. We did our show downtown at the one of the great theaters here, the El Rey Theater. So this is color that we used, Goldwell color, and I think she looks...
Her hair looks awesome.
It's pretty smoky.
It's very smoky.
So of course we will color it, but I'll wait and see what we've got and all the other models.
Well, I like what you said about that, letting the colorists sort of do their magic. That was a comment somebody said last night, is just sort of making hair cutting and color a collaboration. Yeah.
New friends that we met. Let's just pick up the scissor quickly, and then we're going to pull back my young lady from before.
Tie.
Let's have a quick look. You just comb this up and just seal the edges, just a little point cutting. When you are point cutting, guys, when you point cutting, make sure you point the scissors go in. So it's not across, You're coming straight in. So you want whatever way the hair's coming out, the scissor goes in exactly the same way. You can see what we created here. Short but soft with a scissor. Short but soft. I kind of like
I love
the
it.
little loose little signature
that little
piece
guy.
there. It's a little signature
It's
piece.
a party piece.
Wow, party piece. Little over direction. You know, I'm going to come back next week. We're going to refine it. Of course, whenever you're doing any kind of demonstration process, yeah, it's an educational piece as much as anything else. So, you know, the work's not really just for you. The work's for the student that's learning. But you get the idea. Let's take this cape off.
How does everybody else feel about the party piece? I love it.
Now let's give it a little bit of Ty. Come on out, babe. Let's try you off a little. A little wave and shine spray.
Welcome Ty to the stage.
If you're just tuning in, we cut Ty's hair earlier. I'm going to just quickly power dry it. How many tattoos you got?
Too many.
Too many. Look, she's got none. You can't see any.
I can't
But
see any of them.
Strategic.
Well, go on, show us. Just kidding.
She's got loads.
It looks beautiful.
So you see, we'll take some pictures and I'll put some pictures on my Instagram later. So check out my Instagram. Ty, let's jump in this chair.
April's all for the party
Take the seat
piece.
for us. Come on in, Ty. Looks good, yeah?
Really, really pretty.
Okay, now we'll put my, this is our sock, YS Park sock diffuser. We have these on our site. They're like $35.
They fit on any hair dryer, and they're travel friendly. So Nick, why do you like to tilt their head?
Because I want to get into the root.
Okay.
So by pushing the head forward, I'm getting right into the root. Shaking that out. Shaking it out. Remember, we put a lot of volume foam in. And we put a little wave and shine spray, which is our glint.
Brand new.
And we put Hydro Mist. So the three products, the only three products we've got, we put in. I was going to use some of my texture spray, but
Robin messed up.
Robin left it there.
Sometimes you just gotta work with what you got.
That's right, baby. So, like, now that the hair's drying off, you loosen it up. Don't be scared of diffusing hair. I think in this world where we've been blow drying hair straight for such a long time, that's been our focus. I think sometimes you get a little scared to touch the hair. I'm never scared. Mess it up, loosen it up. Now I put the head back because I want to get into the root. Remember, product is my friend. So the product is there to enable me.
Nick, Francisco wants to know
Hey, Francisco.
if the last haircut, if that was an undercut underneath
Yes,
there.
it was an undercut, Francisco. It was a scissor undercut. Short through the underneath, long through the top. Head over to the side. Right.
What do you feel an undercut really is? Just some shorter bits underneath?
An undercut is exactly what it sounds like. The underneath is cut shorter. Now, one of the things when you're diffusing, use your hand. Use your hand, and so there's always like between your dryer and your hand, between your dryer and the head is your hand, so I can feel the heat. Because this is a twin turbo Parlux motor. It's an amazing dryer. Oh look, it's a
22 horsepower.
it's a an Arroj hair dryer. These are great dryers. They're the best in the business, I think. And but they get very hot. So make sure your hand is right there, so you can feel the heat. Otherwise, you could be like this, burning the client. And some people won't say a word. They'll just suck it up.
No, you gotta be straight up. If someone's burning you, no.
So we're going to get this all the way. We're going to pull this all the way out to dry. And then we're going to put a little bit more of the glint into the hair. And this is when we talk about texture and looseness. This is what we talk about. There is much more of a feel for texture now than there ever has been in the last 10 years. So we're really into texture and movement. Twist this in, dry it through. Are your arms tired? Is this been a good exercise for you, Robin?
My arms are great.
We got nice models today, didn't we?
Beautiful models.
So quickly dry. Now, if you any final questions, guys, now's the perfect time. Robin and I.
Francisco thinks you're beautiful, by the way.
Thank you.
Haha. There's the glint.
There it is, just
Rocking it out.
work that in. So this is going to add shine. It's going to add a little bit of beachiness, silkiness. Smells like the beach, so it's like going on vacation. You can see how it calms the hair, changes the texture. It's got like a very light, waxy type feel. It's got like that little bit of a grip to it. It's a texture spray. You see how it's changed the hair? Again, you've got to play with products. Most hairdressers need to really spend a lot of time playing with hair products. That's one of the things that I love about session styling, is those hairdressers really have the ability to know how to create texture by working with product.
We have two quick questions. What do the Arrojo products retail at on average? They're pretty affordable.
Yeah, we like to call it affordability or accessibility. Arrojo product retails from 18 to 26. American Wave is going to be from 26 to 32.
And this is the second day that it's out, right?
Yep, second. It's actually not even out yet.
It's not out.
These products.
We're
bringing them to LA next week. We're launching the intro deals. If you're just interested in getting a brand new line, 6 SKUs, American Wave, brilliant. We've been developing that product for 2 years.
Nick, the dryers are available online, right?
Online, and don't forget the code.
LA baby.
LA baby. Okay, come on in, Joe. Come back. Let's get you girls both up against here. It's our little wonderful white ball by the pole.
I love this space. This is the Goldwell Academy?
This is the Goldwell Academy. There you go.
You guys look like sisters, kind of.
Pretty cute, yeah? So, a quick recap. Undercut all the way through. And then you'll see the top falls through. And we kept the length all the way through the front here. And then this young lady here. This is our classic graduation. You can see classic graduation with a scissor. And you can see with the color, because we didn't get the chance to color it before, you can see that softness. Both of these cuts were done with a scissor. Arrojo product, American Wave. It's been a lot of fun, Robin. Did you have a good time?
I had the best time.
You came to see Santa Monica, and all you saw is
Goldwell Academy. I'm happy to be here.
Downtown LA. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Next week we'll be live from Brooklyn. Thanks a lot.
Bye, everybody.